Well, hello and welcome to Wasteland Games' first contest results. I'd like to thank everybody who participated. I'd like to thank everybody who thought about participating but didn't actually get anything turned in. I'd like to thank anyone that wants to participate in the next contest, which should already be posted up by the time you see this video. If the audio is kind of wonky, I apologize in advance. I will try and fix it in post, but the way that I'm recording this is kind of odd. Anyway, here are the results, and remember, this is all in good fun, so let's have a good time. I'll talk to you later, and see you in the next video. So this is the Owl Tower by the Bubble of Doom. It's mainly made out of barn tiles. There's a few random wooden tiles in here as well. As you're coming up to it, you see the entrance. The thing reminds me of a rocket with the way the feet are built at the bottom. Inside, you see toilets with the musical instruments glitched into them, which is the coolest thing about, in all honesty, about the whole thing, in my opinion, is getting the toilets with the glitched in musical instruments, which I know is like the least cool thing for some of you, but for me, that's the coolest thing. You've got random spawns here of raiders and settlers that will spawn on this cliffside, and he's got his one follower. It's an interesting structure. It's built out kind of gravity defyingly in certain ways. It is, I don't know, a little bit glitched, which you can see as you're going up through here, how some of the stuff is layered in together. And he has these little vignettes areas, not so much this one, which is just basically just a workbench. And he has one up on top of this next section, which is just another workbench. But you can tell that he's trying to do some little, like, decorative thing with it, but it's just, there's not hardly anything here. And I know he's got it themed to be like a Mothman themed build, but there's not enough of it to really make it a theme. It's more like this little area here, a series of little vignettes like you'd use in a play or something like that. It's not a bad build. That's why it's the but it is one of the 7 that got submitted to me, so I decided to put all 7 in this video. And as you can see, I mean, it's not horrible. It's actually really cool that he managed to get the height that he did, but it's like some things are just kind of missing, like the floor thing being out and not having enough floors in there. I don't know if it was because he was running wires or what, that he couldn't get the carpets to go over it to fill in the areas. There are ways to do that, by the way. And there are plenty of people that have made videos about it. So, and as you can see, there are these little areas, like I said, as he's going along, you'll see, like, you know, the Mothman section right there, the bedroom section right there. This is the bathroom right here. And the bathroom's got everything but a water source in it, and a mirror, and any kind of light fixture. And there's, although he's got all these wires running up through here, he has very few light fixtures spread out through it. And I don't know if that's because he's overused the light fixtures that he has in the areas that he's built at, or if it's just running short in general. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce your name, but I'm going to try and do my best. With Locomotive 7 Camp, which is a police station out here outside of Berkeley Springs. As you can see, it is built primarily out of stone and the steel build set. There are several turrets around to deal with the local spawns and the spawns that come in from the event that happens just over the hill, which is Bots on Parade. Now, because of this, you've got quite a few things that'll show up here from time to time, as well as a few other things that are random, like Mothmen and, general things that are going to come in whenever you build your camps. But Berkeley Springs Police Station, it's decked out fairly nice. On the interior, you've got, as you go in, you've got holding cells over here, both of which are fairly well set out. You'll notice a lack of wallpaper in these areas. They honestly don't need them because they're holding cells. The general wallpaper for the place is Brotherhood of Steel. It goes throughout the build. And they have a few weapons on display. Some really nice items in their for sale vendors. And quite a few, little things set up here and there to try and make it look more integrated into the environment, like it kind of belongs here. I love the fact that there's a bunch of Brotherhood of Steel stuff in here, which I considered, it's kind of a Brotherhood of Steel police station, I suppose. But it's decked out really well. I'm using my flying camera and recording this. Unfortunately, Locomotive isn't a native speaker of English, so they feel kind of weird about being on a mic, which I get. I am checking around the outside and the back, and then I will switch to my personal camera so I can show you what's going on. It's actually really well put together. I like the fact that the bathrooms are placed on the exterior. You've got a couple sinks there. The Collectron, all the power is wired up really well. And everything seems to work pretty well. But I love the image that you get right off the bat when you first show up and you're looking straight up here at the two giant lions, like they're watching for somebody to come from the directions that they're looking in versus looking at each other. They're looking outward like they're watching for creatures or monsters to come in. This is the location that we're at. That's the Berkeley Springs station. That's the bot stop that's right there. This is Berkeley Springs main location right here. And the Red Rocket is constantly brimming over with Scorched. If you've been in this area for any length of time, you know what I mean. Alright, switching back to my camera with Ren. And we'll go ahead up this way. And I will show you the upstairs. And in here you've got the special changing thing, a few workstations up here. I'm pretty sure the missing texture that I have there is because of the server that I'm on versus actually the texture missing, because Locomotive's been very thorough in everything they do, and I like the interrogation style room that they've got up here with the broken chair and the chrome baseball bat on the wall. And then they've got a property room up here with some storage items and a stand to work on their power armor. It's well put together, fairly nice. So here we are at Waterfall B&B by SolitaireX. And as you can see, she is built in the mire at the waterfall location. She has used one prefab and built onto it to build her bed and breakfast. It's a nice location, real pretty scenery. Not a lot of things will attack you here, which is actually a good thing. And as you can see by her panouts, she is built down onto the waterfall itself, as well as across the top of it. So she's tried to utilize it as best she could for what she wanted to do with it, which she appears to have done a really nice job with the deck on the back, by the waterfall itself, and the one that runs right across the top of it. And then over here is where the guest rooms are, and this is the main area for guests, and then you've got the prefab itself as the main area for, like, the entrance, I suppose, or where you'd book your room at, more likely. This is where it is located at. That's the airplane right there. You can see it. That's Solitaire herself. She is on the PlayStation. And here we go. Well, I was thinking we were going somewhere. No. Here we go. All right. There. No. We're doing the drunken stagger. No, it's fine. We're fine. No. As you can tell, she's done a lot. She's incorporated into the build the stairwells and some other roof pieces along the top here. She's got her vendor right out here in the front and a little bit of seating, her resource gathering. She's used the bunker door set. It comes with that round bunker. I think it's like the Soviet set, if I remember right. The white kitchen from this most recent scoreboard. And her follower is, if I remember right, it's the Raider Punk. Another vendor here, table, nice entrance. I mean, it's done up pretty well. She decorated this place pretty well. She even built an extra set of floors, including a ladder here that's actually usable, and she goes into that in her own video, which this is her video. I just went ahead and edited out the sound so I could give my own commentary. And she did a heck of a job with that because it's actually physically usable in the game if you want to try and use it. Granted, with all those things that are usable, it's all a matter of landing properly. So just remember that if you make them yourself. She's got a glitched aquarium TV, her throne over there, bedroom up here, Mothman egg generator, which seems like a bad thing for a bedroom. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know that I'd want a large moth coming to my bedroom and leaving me gifts beside my bed. Just a thought. Anyway, as I said, you can use these things. Pretty cool. I didn't edit that out. That's one of her things showing that in her video. I highly advise you to go watch it. Her commentary is far more entertaining than mine is at times. Although I do like the fact that she put the roofs on over top of this deck, and she's went ahead and glitched in her ammo thing into her acid producer, which just seems like a waste for the butterflies, because the butterflies are actually one of the prettier static things we have in the game. She has her workbenches glitched into these cabinets. And they're pretty standard. They're actually quite nice. The cabinets are really good for that. I think I've seen, like, everybody does that practically at one point or another. Until we get workbenches that look cooler, which I think there's some more coming out. But the flower pot, getting stuff in it, and merging things into it. I should say merging, not glitching, but merging and glitching are exactly the same thing because it literally is the same thing. I like the fact that your foundation is high enough that you can see the water coming out from under it, so that it shows the water continues out without, you know, any obstruction. And then you come down this little ramp here and you've got your waterfall coming out from underneath your walkway that was up there and the lattice work there, and you can see the vines that are growing on it, and the lovely statue with its light source added to it, and I mean it's a nice clean build for the most part. It's not magical or mystical, or it's clever for what it is, but it is not by any means uncharted territory. Let's just go with that. Actually, Solitaire did a great job with this, to be honest. I've seen her first build here, and it was by no means what this is. She's done a hell of a lot of improving in the time that I've talked to her and goofed around with her and teased her online. Mainly teasing her online. But she really does do some great stuff. I mean, I love the fact that she built that little room underneath this with the glass enclosure and then built up her building around it so that it looks like it's an under-the-floor display, but it's technically completely a room in and of its own. And she can technically get in there and change stuff in it if she wants to without having to go into camera mode. She can just change out a wall and walk in and fiddle with it. I like the pool table. I hate the carpet that they gave it, but I like the pool table. And I hate that couch. And I have that couch. I will never probably ever use that couch because it just screams weird to me. I mean, unless they come out with a whole set of stuff that's super mutant themed, I don't think I'll ever use it. But some of the cleanest bathrooms around, she just doesn't have mirrors in any of them. She's got 2 of them. One for the men, one for the ladies. They're nice, they're clean, they don't have a wall separating between them. You could jump up on top of it, look over the side, have a good time. She's got a few vines growing in through the ceiling tiles. You can see it there. They're just kind of like hanging out. If you're going to use those ceilings, word of advice, put an inner wall on the interior, and then if you have the vines, you can actually place the vines on an inner wall. And then it kind of all blends together so it looks like it was done on purpose and not as a happy little accident, as Bob would say. But it's a great build. Liked it a lot. I put her in this section because this is where it needed to be, if that makes any sense. It's good stuff. So next up is Rezurex's greenhouse. It's one that I filmed. I actually went to this location. It's a beautiful location to build at. I've seen a lot of really cool builds here. This one takes advantage of both the location's view, and it also takes advantage of just the overall aesthetic of the place. It's a wonderful location to build in. If you time it right and somebody launches a nuke towards the Queen from here, you can see it going in beautifully from this location, which is why they have the two chairs and the table up top. This whole place is done up to be a greenhouse, and it's functionally beautiful in the way that it works. It's designed well, everything fits well together. The cluttering that's been done with the plushies and all the stuff around is really nice. The only complaint that I would have about this whole thing is that set of signs that were back there around the vendor bot. I would just change those out for the standard rails and maybe put only one of them in there. But that's me. But I mean, it's a greenhouse, so of course he's got plants. He's got plants stuck in everywhere around. They've got the pathways marked out with a red stone tile. They've got every little nook and cranny is just chocked full of either something that screams that it needs to be here for a greenhouse, or something that screams that it needs to be here just because people are actively living here and doing things in the place. It's a nice camp design. It's by no means perfect, but it's a really nice design. Clean, aesthetically pleasing. It looks like it was thought out and planned pretty well. There's some nice merges with lights and features. A little bit of everything going on. It's a good, solid build. It really is. Fire Watchtower by Lord HelmChen. This place is awesome. Not because he has the guns. The guns are there because of the stuff that spawns out in the area. And this is one of those areas where, like, the sheep squatch can spawn, snallygasters can spawn, toads can spawn, everything. He has stacked foundations. He has supported the back deck by putting in angled pieces to make it look like it's supported properly, structurally, built-wise, without adding columns. He has used the wooden walls and fences to build up the base of his tower that he built from scratch for the Firewatch Tower. Instead of using the one from the pre-built kit that we have, which, again, there's nothing wrong with using the Ranger's Tower. It's just this one is like 4 times as big, technically, if you go for thickness all the way across. But it is actually really well put together. The new build kit that we have that we got from this scoreboard really works well with it. Cleans up really nice. He has gone through. The only complaint that I have with it is this right here. See the sparkly bit there on the floor, the Z fighting? What that is Bethesda hasn't got the adjusted height on their terrain pieces that they've given us to build with put in right. So that is it just needs to be lowered like one click on their terrain set whenever they go through and clean up the terrain pieces. That's what needs to be done. It just needs to be lowered one set. See, he built this beautiful tower, built it out of stairwells, right? And then down here, he's got his workbenches and everything that he needs to actively, you know, keep a character running and doing what you need to do. He's got his own little vendor over here on the left. And he has 2 vendors there technically because he has the robot, and then he also has the cash register. Those can be sealed off and locked down so that if he's running high on caps that he can just turn it off without an issue. In here you've got a kitchen, and he's got a nice little living room with a TV stand and TV. He's got his fireplace. Everything is nice and neatly tucked up here underneath the stairwell. You've got a nice little dining table. You come up this way. The only part of it that I don't really like is the bathroom placement, which he does have a nice bathroom Well, he has a bathroom in the place, but the bathroom placement just seems a little off. But that's a me thing. That's a designer's choice thing too. Anyway, this is like, you know, a really nice place for a hot tub. You've got the deck coming off of it. You go up. He built his own chimney, added in his own flame effect so that he could get the smoke coming out of it to make it look realistic. It's a really cool, really nice build. Instead of using the standard security lights, he used the ones from the stage lights that we got a while back. So I guess if I have to have a winner, it's going to be Down on the Dock by Fluffnera. The camp itself is reminiscent of Far Harbor. They've used 2 different prefabs and using the boat and the boat-themed restaurant that we got for being Fallout First members. They've built a nice dock area, decorated everything really well, went to a lot of trouble of doing a lot, and I mean a bloody lot of merges. Everything on shelves to merging in lamps like that one there to make it look like that robot's pouring oil into that container. You name it, they have gone through a lot of work and trouble to put this place together. I love the fact that you used a folding, like, holiday light for the front light of the boat because it doesn't require power. They've gone through and put in everything you can imagine as far as merges go. They've even merged that gecko head down into the table there. Decorated out as best as anybody could imagine, as thoroughly as you'd want. And even built a little catwalk out of the mats to make it across the boat, and then built their own little stair on the inside of it. Now, as far as the deck here goes, they have gone to all the trouble of putting up actual signs, which means they spent a lot of budget doing that. They've put a lot of budget into decorating the interior by decorating the shelves and all these merges that are floating around here. And if you look long enough, you'll see probably one you haven't seen in a while, or just that you might have missed if you looked at it on their channel. But there are a god-awful amount of merges here. Some of them good, some of them... well, like the fish thing there, that could be a little bit better, to be honest. But overall, not bad. Really, really good, to be honest. They put more work into doing the merging and the decorating for their camp than they did in building and constructing their camp. The location lent to that because it's one of the few locations you can actually place a boat down into an area that has water that looks like it's actually got water underneath the dang boat. Because as we all know, the boat don't float, so to speak, in this game. And they've gone to a lot of trouble positioning, placing, and getting all these items to look like they're on the shelves versus floating above the shelf or floating inside the shelf. Some of them aren't quite right, like the frogs in the jars, because you can see the bottom coming through there, or the fish that I pointed out earlier, again, because you can see the bottom of the bag coming through there. That has more to do with the object than it does their skill at actually doing the merges, because the merges are really well done. The lighting effects are all on point. It's been a lot of fun, guys.